Cruising has changed this past year, and overall, I'm unimpressed. I feel like everyone's been focused on the bad news that's been happening in cruising lately, and I can't say that I blame them, especially as we wrap up a cringy and outright horrifying year in cruise news. Let's face it, the headlines have run the gamut from a child falling overboard on a Disney ship to a person actually jumping overboard, allegedly just to escape a gambling debt, to an alleged murder on a ship, to fight after fight after fight on, well, pretty much every cruise line. And then there's the bad news about price hikes and drastic changes to loyalty programs. I'm looking at you, Carnival. And drink limits and those ridiculous cruise staffing cutbacks that have crews working harder than ever before. And then on a subjective note, and please feel free to chime in the comments section on this because I absolutely love your input. I think that cruises are more crowded than ever. New technology has enabled cruise lines to fill those cabins to capacity more frequently, which, unless you love crowds, can make your cruise a little less magical. The food quality is headed in a downward spiral, and as for the entertainment, while on some ships it's quite spectacular, on others it's definitely getting worse with fewer Broadway caliber shows and, well, in some cases just fewer shows overall. I mean, I love karaoke too, but cruise lines shouldn't be relying on it to entertain their passengers. Meanwhile, the cruise companies are raking in the money, giving them a record-breaking year, because all of this bad news is not scaring away passengers. But there is a lot, and I do mean a lot, of good news that's happened this year in cruising. And while that's not usually what makes the most effective headlines, especially here on YouTube, where bad news definitely gets more likes and shares, but it's out there. We just have to dig a little deeper. And the first good news is the jaw-dropping, new, and extremely diverse ships we've seen launch for the first time this year. And I know you think I'm going to start off by talking about my beloved Royal Caribbean, but I think that the MSC World America really needs to lead this, because even though I personally think that MSC kind of tends to take its design cues very, very heavily from Royal Caribbean, I have to say that World America is at the top of my list of cruise ships that I simply must sail on in 2026 based on some really impressive reviews, especially for their MSC Yacht Club, which apparently even puts to shame Royal Caribbean's star-class suites that come with a royal genie. So yep, I'm definitely classifying that as good news, because it's wonderful to see a new product earning 5 stars, and to be honest, I just don't see that from MSC much. Next off, we've got the Star of the Seas from Royal Caribbean, which made its debut in 2025, which by itself would have made heads turn. But the truth is, it's, well, just another Icon-class ship. And while this class of ship is epic, I'm kind of anxious to see something new from Royal Caribbean, like those smaller ships that they've been hinting at for a couple years now, but with no real details. Are you with me on this? Post a comment below if you'd like to see something different from Royal after so many Icon ships. Then we have NCL's beautiful Aqua, which might not be as big as the Star of the Seas or World America, but I'm really loving NCL these days, even though I really do miss their old free at sea deals. But unlike Royal Caribbean, NCL actually brings their newest ships to New York City, which is much appreciated by people who are a plane trip away from Florida, like me. So the Aqua earns bonus points just for that. Next up, we have the Brilliant Lady from Virgin Voyagers, for those of you who are willing to pay extra to sail without kids. The Star Princess from, you guessed it, Princess. The Ama Magdalena, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, from Ama Waterways. The Allura from Oceania Cruises. The Celebrity XL, a name I hate because while I know it's a play on the word XL, it still makes me think that I'm ordering some really comfy sweats on Amazon. And finally, of course, let's end this with the Disney Destiny, which really does look fabulous and might actually pull me back on a Disney ship despite the little feud I have going on with Disney Cruise Lines right now over their lousy loyalty program that basically bumps people out if they haven't sailed with them for 5 years. But I guess an actual feud requires them to be angry at me too, and they don't even know I exist. So call me an optimist, but I count every one of these new ships as good news for the cruise industry and good news for us, the passengers, because more options mean more competition, and more competition should result in some good deals if you don't mind going on some slightly older ships. Then we have the good news that more ships on the water mean more jobs, both on board the ships and in the ports that they serve. Yes, it's a fact that cruising's footprint extends far beyond vacationers on board. Industry studies show that cruising continues to be a major economic contributor, generating over $168 billion in global economic impact in recent reporting and supporting widespread employment around the world. I mean, let's face it, it's a good time to be a shipbuilder right now. And cruising's impact is felt in other industries like airlines and Uber and Lyft, because all of those people on cruises have to get to the port, right? Even industries like luggage design and sales have felt the impact of a strong cruising market experiencing stunning growth, which is now projected to exceed $60 billion by 2030. That's a lot of money for luggage, but you're talking to someone who's had the same luggage for 30 years. And yes, it even means more jobs for the industries that struggle to clean up the mess that cruises bring, and their significant negative environmental impact, which, well, doesn't really feel like good news. So yeah, moving on. Here's some more good news. Technology has improved drastically on board ships. Not only do we have faster and more reliable Wi-Fi, the apps that most cruise lines offer are finally starting to work. I'm also glad to say that most cruise lines have stuck with a mostly app-focused muster drill. I really don't miss having to go to some location on board and sit around for a half an hour or more while they talk to us at the start of our trip. We're also seeing more improvement in sustainability with cleaner fuels like LNG, though there are some people who will say that's debatable. And they have supposedly improved waste and water treatments. Supposedly. And I think the biggest good news of 2025 is just the sheer demand for cruising, which you'd think would be a bad thing because it results in higher prices for us all. But here's a different spin on it. That demand also means that cruising isn't going anywhere, and we can all remember a time just a handful of years back when we truly wondered if we'd see the entire industry die completely. Did I miss anything? Do you have some good news to share? Post it down below. I love hearing from you, especially at this time of year, and hope to find out all the cruising you've been up to in 2025, as well as your plans for 2026. And thank you so much for watching, for commenting, for subscribing, and for making this channel such a supportive, helpful community. I'm so grateful for you.